Jai Prabhuji. Sharing this with you is going back 25 years ago. But yet it is as if it is happening right now. Back then, Prabhuji was living with a few disciples in an ashram in a south city in Israel. We also had 3 yoga centers in the 3 main cities of the country. And every weekend, the disciples were gathering to associate with Prabhuji in the ashram. At that time, we were meditating a lot, sometimes from the morning until the night, and sometimes all the night. And I remember one weekend that we will meditate all the night. And then in the morning, early in the morning, around sunrise hour, Prabhuji invited me for a walk in the desert just by the ashram. So we walked down to the desert. We were walking in silence. And then we came across 2 rocks and we sat one by each other, facing the beautiful view of the desert, and the colors of the sunrise hour were so beautiful. And then Prabhuji guided me to meditate. And he asked me, please meditate, but with open eyes. And so I did, and we were meditating. And suddenly I asked Prabhuji, Prabhuji, do you see them? What do you see? The circles of light. Everywhere is circles of light, and they're coming from the ground and from the sky and to me and from me, and they have this sound, shh. Prabhuji smiled and he said, yes. This moment was a unity between the circles of light, which are a certain level or a certain manifestation of the pure consciousness, between Prabhuji and myself. And what was present there was the presence of consciousness, of divinity. And this unity was in the level of the essence, fundaments of existence and of each and one of us. It wasn't as someone saw something, but it was an observation of the awareness itself. I didn't know anything about it before. I didn't read about it. Prabhuji didn't tell me anything about it. He didn't say, listen, you will see that and you will hear this. He didn't tell me anything. And from this, we can learn that it was an authentic experience that didn't come from the mind, from the known and the familiar. It didn't come from any mental concepts or preconceived ideas or thoughts or feelings. It wasn't connected to me as someone, as an egoic phenomenon. Hegel said that the experience of the self is pre-philosophy, which means that even before one comes to think about philosophy or theology or metaphysics, one can experience the self. And I think that this is exactly what's happened to me. This experience was very significant in my retrogressive path, in my awakening process. First, because until then I perceived myself as a separate entity. I perceive myself as a subject, and that everything else is an object. I holding a deep belief that I didn't doubt about it, of a reality of duality. If we look at this chair or at this table or at this person, we perceive them as separate objects. But then suddenly you awake to the reality that the substance, the essence of everything, and the essence of your own self is consciousness. And in fact, only consciousness is. This event was the first time of the realization of the nature, master, and disciple. Prabhuji, who is an enlightened master, who is always open, is able to transmit the most intimate, that has no form, has no definition, that is so difficult to explain, to describe, is able to transmit this to his disciple. And when the disciple is open, completely open, without defenses and with full trust in the master, he is able to accept what the master has to transmit to him, his own self. And then a spiritual communion can happen. From the disciple's side, he needs this relationship as an air to breathe, because How can the disciple experience something that he has no idea about it? Only from this mysterious of the nature of the master and disciple, which I don't think I need to try to understand it or to explain it, but only to surrender into it and to allow it to grow and to be. I said before that sharing this with you is as if it is happening right now. And this is because that when we are talking about something that happened sometime somewhere in the past, we are going back to our memory and we are trying to remember it. But when we describing a transcendental experience that is not limited to time and space, that is atemporal, we are actually looking into an entrance. We are opening a door that is always open for us. And when I described an experience in accurate and faithful way, I am actually looking at something that is accessible to each and one of us every moment and moment, right now. Jai Prabhuji.